hated him the first time I saw him. Maybe it was the way he smiled like he'd already won, or the fact that the professor called on him first, even though I had my hand raised. Or maybe it was because my body a traitorous, aching thing reacted to his voice like it was gospel. His name was Weston Hale. Alpha. Harvard legacy. Golden boy with a silver tongue and the kind of smirk that could ruin lives or make them. And unfortunately, he ruined mine. Law school was supposed to be my escape. From being the quiet Omega from a rusted-out town in Alabama. From a family that only looked at me with disappointment, like I'd broken something sacred just by being born different. From a high school teacher who once said, "Omega's like you don't belong in courtrooms, son. You belong in cribs." So I fought. For every grade, every footnote in every brief, every ounce of respect. Until Weston strolled in like the opening act to my humiliation. He was brilliant, confident, and the worst kind of competitor, one who noticed everything, including me. The first time he ever spoke to me, I was in the hallway outside Con Law. I just fumbled through a cold call and muttered something about freedom of speech when I meant due process. My palms still burned with shame. "You're better than that," he said simply, walking past me. No smile, no sarcasm, just that. And that's when I started hating him more. Because deep down, I wanted to believe him. By the second semester, we were infamous, the Alpha and the Omega, at war across courtrooms and seminar tables. Professors loved pitting us against each other. Our classmates placed bets on who would out-argue who. One even made a meme account. It was funny until it wasn't. Until the day I saw him at the library at 2 a.m., asleep over his laptop, outline-strewn and exhausted. Until I caught myself staring at the mole on his neck during moot court, wondering if anyone had ever kissed him there. Until he pulled me aside after class and said, quietly, "That argument you made was incredible." And suddenly, I didn't know what to do with all this anger anymore. Because anger was easy. Wanting Weston Hale was not. Started slowly. A conversation here. An accidental brush of shoulders there. Then came the night of the Law Journal mixer, where everything cracked wide open. I had one glass of wine, then another. I told myself it was to take the edge off. But when I saw him leaning against a wall in a black button-down that hugged his chest a little too perfectly, all my excuses unraveled. He walked up to me like it meant nothing, like we hadn't spent a year trying to destroy each other. "You look different tonight," he said. "You don't." That a compliment or an insult? Guess it depends how much you care. "I care too much," he said softly. I don't remember who moved first. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was him. Maybe gravity just finally gave up, pretending we weren't already falling. We kissed behind the stairwell. It was rough, messy, desperate. Like everything we'd refused to say was being spoken through teeth and tongues and gasps. But it wasn't until he whispered my actual name. Not some mocking nickname, not counselor, that I broke. Because it didn't sound like war anymore. It sounded like surrender. That night didn't change things immediately. If anything, it made everything worse. Because now there was hope in the way we argued. A hidden tension behind every debate. I started noticing when his hand brushed the table a little too close to mine. When he lingered after class. And every time he looked at me, I wanted to collapse. Not from fear, but from the unbearable truth that I didn't hate him anymore. Then came the mock trial finals. It was me versus him, of course. The entire auditorium was full. Professors, judges, even students from other departments. It was the kind of academic bloodbath that people whispered about for years. We were both brilliant, and I knew it. But during my closing argument, I caught his eyes. And he smiled. Not his usual smug, predatory grin. This smile was soft, almost proud. It threw me off. My voice faltered. I looked away. I lost. I told myself I didn't care, that it didn't matter. But when he found me alone afterward, sitting in the empty courtroom, I couldn't hide it. "You were phenomenal," he said, kneeling in front of me. "Better than me. But I still lost." "You didn't lose," he said. "You changed the entire way I see the law." I laughed bitterly. Is that supposed to be romantic? No, this is. And then he kissed me again. This time without war, without walls, just Weston and me. We spent the summer together, quietly, carefully, off campus. He introduced me to his sister. I showed him my favorite diner back home. We fought over legal theories, then made up under motel sheets. But reality caught up. Second year came, so did clerkships, politics, family. "I'm not out," he said once, voice tight, hands shaking. "My father would kill me. I mean that literally." I understood. I really did. But it didn't stop it from hurting. "I spent my whole life trying to prove I'm worth something," I told him once. "And now I feel like I have to hide just to be yours." We broke. Quietly. No yelling. No ultimatums. Just two tired men who didn't know how to fight for love when the world only taught them how to win. I didn't see him for months after that. Until graduation. I was valedictorian. He was sitting in the front row. When I stepped up to the podium, my heart lodged in my throat. I had a speech. I'd written it, practiced it, memorized it, but I didn't read it. Instead, I looked right at him and said, "I used to think the law was about winning, about being right, but someone once told me that real power comes from changing how people see the world." That person challenged me, broke me, made me better. I owe him more than a courtroom could ever repay. When the ceremony ended, I walked past the crowd. He was waiting. No words, just his hand, reaching for mine. And this time I didn't collapse. I stood tall, took it, because maybe we weren't enemies anymore. Maybe we never were. We were just two broken boys who needed to believe that even in a world built on rules and verdicts, love could still be the final argument. And this time we both won. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.